Okay, now we end this chapter with some concepts about good practices or best practices when you set up an Excel model. Okay, and these are common sense approaches. So what you do is you put all similar cell contents in a kind of one areas, divide it into sections. Put all parameters in one section of the spreadsheet, dividing them into those that are certain inputs like um, you know input parameters that are deterministic, and then input parameters that are not deterministic that need to be simulated. So you can use different color codes for that, background color. And you have decision variables in another section. Again, use a different color code. And then I would leave all the calculations with no background color, because you want to use color in a sparing way. So you don't want to just paint the entire spreadsheet with different colors. It may look pretty, but it becomes very unreadable and very gaudy. So the calculations part will leave with no color background, and then the results and the objectives. Okay. So you need to use simple colors, use different background colors for different sections, and then use the borders, bottom border or side border in a sparing way, at the same time in a judicious way, and use bold and italics. Okay, format the numeric contents all in a consistent and proper way. On alignment, if you align, you don't want the column header to be aligned left. So text always, the default text alignment is left. So your column header is aligned to the left, and then if the column contains numbers and the numbers are aligned to the right, it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look professional. So you need to make sure that they're all aligned properly, and the texts are aligned properly and formatted properly with font size, bold, italic. And when you construct formulas, if you have long formulas, okay, it's better to break it down into smaller pieces and put them together, like we did here. So the subscription probability, we broke it down into smaller pieces, even though we didn't break that. We didn't do that when we did the subscription probability here, and that's because we don't want too many columns in this table. That becomes the model becomes too unwieldy. So, but if you have a complicated formula, it's a good idea to break it down into smaller pieces and avoid using numerical values directly in formulas. And that's a very important consideration. So like these percentages that we did in the retirement. Okay, the percentages that we used in retirement, like here salary increase. So B4 is annual increase. You don't want to put 2% hard code the value 0.02 into the formula. So then if you want to change the annual rate, you have to go back and edit the formulas, and you can't do any analysis either. Okay, but you can do the analysis if you put that into a cell and use that cell address in the formulas, and that is that's not only best practice, and that should be the minimal practice, and that not doing that will be malpractice. Yeah. So and then if there are errors, okay, Excel offers some error detection and error analysis. Okay, like if you go to formulas, okay, so you have any formula that you have, you can trace precedence. Okay, so what are the input values coming into the formula of that cell? Then these arrows can then be removed, clicking that. And then trace dependence will be what other cells depend on this cell. So again, it gives you arrow by arrow tells you where it is used as input. So this can be very helpful in understanding how the formula gets used in the model. And then if there are errors, you can do error checking. Okay, so okay, sometimes, so here there is gives you an error that there is formula omits adjacent cells. Okay, so but that's not an error, but it gives you a warning. Okay, so if you that green, this warning sign tells you what it is. So this can be helpful also in understanding whether there are any errors in the model and checking it out. And here are 3 websites that talk about the current state-of-the-art practices for avoiding error or developing robust Excel models. And these sites are not encrypted, so they are not. They don't have HTTPS security. So you have to be a little careful browsing in these sites. Okay. All right. So with this we conclude chapter 1, and we'll revisit these models, the retirement model and the movie pass model, and introduce simulation analysis for these deterministic models.